Hello. Once again, I'm back on my all trustworthy Dell Alienware M17 R5 AMD edition. And as promised, today we are in the new Ubuntu 26.04 LTS long-term support desktop edition. And before I will continue, let me check out the stream if it works properly. This is very important. Okay, nice. So yeah, where do I begin? Oh boy, I have a bad feeling about this. Anyway, let me show you the system information, first using the GUI and then the terminal. Here we are. I'll go on system details. Dell Alienware M17 R5 AMD edition, 32GB of RAM, 2TB of SSD storage space. The CPU is an the CPU is an AMD Ryzen 9 6900HX, and the GPU is an also AMD Radeon RX 6800M. And as I said, I'm running Ubuntu 26.04 LTS. And yeah, GNOME version it's 50 on Wayland. Anyway, and then let's go to the terminal. As you can see, it has plenty of good information here. I would like to point your attention to the screen resolution. I'm streaming and recording at 4K 3840 by 2160. The system is running at 120 Hz. However, I'm streaming and recording at 30 FPS, and I'm using the scale of 1.5 or 150% if you prefer. The thing is that the default setting was 200 or 2, scale 2, but it was too big for me and I don't like that. So 1.5 it is. And for the rest of the information, you can pause the stream now or later on when I will put the video on the YouTube channel, the video itself, and take a good look at your own pace. The thing is that I'm very conflicted about this. It's not like Pop OS with Cosmic, but it has some very interesting decisions. Some very interesting decisions were made. Keep always in mind that I have no modern reference of how Ubuntu was with GNOME in the past few years or even the previous version. So without that in mind, just talking compared to the other Linux distributions that I have been using, some very interesting decisions. Anyway, what I wanted to say is this. When I tried to install it, I was getting on one hand some good positive vibes, and on the other hand, oh boy, because I had to use another memory stick in order to do that. And now I will just take a look on my pictures. I got some pictures in order to refresh my memory. So yeah, when it started, it asked me if I wanted an interactive installation or an automated installation. It had two different options for automated. It doesn't matter. I choose the interactive version setting. And then it had a default selection of applications and system utilities, etc. I went with the extended version. And then it asked me if I wanted to install any proprietary software, third-party proprietary software, or drivers or media codecs, etc. And then I ended up on an empty screen that was asking me how do I want to install Ubuntu, but no other option. It was like it bugged out basically, and I had to use another USB stick in order to install it. And this is like the second time that it is happening. I don't like this, and I don't know why it's so difficult for the companies, for the people behind these platforms, for these distributions, to be able to install with whatever method, Balena Etcher, I don't know, Rufus, Vendoy, whatever, you know, like, why people, why? Anyway, with that out of the way, I installed the system. I was met with more or less this default look that you are seeing now. Then I had to make a selection, basically how I wanted for my theme to look, basically with these options, and I went with the dark and this purple. And then I tried to install a few apps that I want to have on the system installed, and I went ahead with the usual suspects using the app setter. I used snaps as long as the app was in snaps. I used that, and otherwise I had to enable either the Debian package solution or used Flatpaks. For example, I will show you this one when I don't know, let's just say I wanted, for example, GNOME 2x, so I did that, for example. No, nothing, and then I had to switch to Debian packages, and here it is. Boom. So I had to jungle this thing, which is puzzling to me. I mean, you have your own app center, then why you're not searching for all kind of apps? Why you are pushing me only to the snaps apps, or just snaps, however they want to call them? I have no idea. Anyway, I tried to install everything that I wanted to install. So here are my applications basically. Let's just quick scan, for example, Audacity, Discord, extensions and extensions manager, Flatshell, GIMP, Inkscape, Yoplin, Krita, Kdenlive. I don't know why they are looking like this. I think those are snaps as well. I don't know why they are behaving like this. Anyway, MPV, OBS Studio, Parabolic, PDF Arranger, Transmission, Twix, Vivaldi, and XIV Lancer. And then I did the as you saw, the terminal thing. I switched to Fizz from Bass, and then of course I did my fastfetch setup, basic setup, nothing fancy. I did almost no changes to the system so far. I kept it as much as possible closer to the real thing. The default settings of the system anyway. And what I changed that I remember from memory, of course, I changed stuff that are related to GNOME tweaks. For example, the way you focus the windows. I always like to do it with the mouse. I don't want to click on the windows, so just like that. Basically, I did placement of the title bar buttons to the left. I just can't stand the buttons on the right. I disabled the attach modal dialogues and center new windows. I disabled those, and this is the focus thing that I was talking about. So these things, I installed just a couple fonts that I use in order to do my videos and these streams. And then, as I said, the terminal thing I already said, I don't need to repeat this. And then on the settings, the bare minimum stuff like region, you know, about the keyboard. I added my Swedish keyboard. I did the regional stuff here, the Swedish things, because, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So, what I want to say is this. It has some silly bugs, the system. I mean, like, I don't know, the attention to detail, maybe it's questionable in a few things. Maybe things will get better in the next few days that I will try to customize the system, remains to be seen. But for example, when you move between workspaces, even like this, as we can see on the desktop, it has this icon. Obviously you are able to have icons on the desktop. That's the thing, that's the function part of it. But the appearance way of it, when I click to the workspace, then basically it loads the icons all over again, or seemingly, at least that's what it does. Because when I do it, you see what's happening when I do it with the touchpad, it's even more jarring. And even if I will not switch, just I regret and go back, you see, I don't like this at all. It just gets on my nerves. My OCDs and all that, grumpy old papa. Anyway, another silly thing that is happening is this. Let's just say that I want to move my window to tile it on the right side or the left side. I do this. Now I did it properly. What the heck? This is insane. This is actually insane that it worked now. Basically what it was doing, it was like having the window, like, look at this, I can't show it to you now, it's insane. It was like this. I couldn't tile it. For some reason now it worked properly. This is insane, literally. I don't know, maybe because I have other windows open. And I even have OBS, so I can't close OBS. But let's just close the other apps. Let's just see if it happens. Let me try it again. No, it doesn't do it. Maybe because I have other apps. I will do it again offline and I will verify this. But when I had the Vivaldi alone or the file browser, it was doing it, the thing that I told you. It was just like this. It wasn't tiling properly. Anyway, it works now, whatever, okay. Anyway, let's just read about Ubuntu and I will return to the other stuff. For example, let's just start with the Wikipedia page. Ubuntu is a Linux distribution based on Debian and composed primarily of free and open source software, developed by the British company Canonical and a community of contributors. Under a meritocratic governance model, Ubuntu is released in multiple official editions, desktop, server and core for IoT and robotic devices. Ubuntu is published on a 6-month release cycle with long-term support, LTS versions issued every 2 years. Canonical provides security updates and support until each release reaches its designated end of life, EOL, with optional excellent support available through the Ubuntu Pro and expanded security maintenance, ESM, services. And then this is the official web page. Basically, this is the official web page. And this is what you are seeing when you are trying to find out about the Ubuntu for desktop. And it reads, the #1 open source operating system powering millions of PCs and laptops around the world. Download Ubuntu desktop. The secure modern operating system used by millions, and it has plenty of stuff to read. Whatever, usual stuff that companies, that people say, that teams say. It uses GNOME. Here is the official GNOME website. An independent computing platform for everyone. A more elegant way to use your computer. Blah blah blah. GNOME Wikipedia page. GNOME is a free and open source desktop environment for Linux and other Unix-like operating systems. It is distributed as the default desktop environment of many major Linux distributions, including Debian, Fedora, Linux, Ubuntu, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, and SUSE Linux Enterprise, and is the default in Oracle Solaris, a Unix operating system. Sorry, but for the past week or so, yeah, not feeling the great of all time that I usually feel. Anyway, GNOME is developed by the GNOME project, which is composed of both volunteers and paid contributors, the largest corporate contributor being Red Hat. It is an international project that aims to develop frameworks for software development, to program end-user applications based on these frameworks, and to coordinate efforts for the internationalization, localization, and accessibility of that software. Anyway, remains to be seen how well I will be customizing this GNOME based system. Truly remains to be seen. I have no faith at it at all. We will see. And not just because it's the latest GNOME version 50, but from what I have been encountering so far. That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, some silly things to mention as well. I have to mention these silly things. For example, this one here, the dock, let's just call it the dock. Where is it? Oh my god. Yeah, here we are. So yeah, you can put it on auto hide the dock as it says here, as I have it already set, but it's the usual crap of having an app move there in order for it to be hidden. No good. I don't like this one. I never liked it, never will. Old cow and all that. Anyway, panel mode, this one I should be disabling right away. It's like, why? I understand that this was the default thing years ago, like, I don't know, dozen years ago, maybe a bit more. But yeah, come on people, make it be the default, to be the normal dock appearance. Anyway, the thing is this, position on screen, you can put it only left, bottom or right. Why? Why? Are you Apple? Please don't try to be Apple, it's not always good. Or most of the time it's not good. Anyway, and it says configure dock behavior. And yeah, I will take a look on all these things, but some silly things already in place. And this enhanced styling here, it's some kind of an extension they use for the system. Most probably it has to be this one, Ubuntu Tiling Assistant, but it's like not an actual tiling thing. It's like the quadrants on the screen, like, you know, the four corners, the side of the, or the top and bottom, like this, you know, like that. It's nothing fancy. I mean, it's nothing like, I don't understand. You're trying to implement something, go all in, go deep into the rabbit hole. Why just, this is like nothing. Nowadays, this is nothing. There are free solutions on any kind of an operating system that offer much better solutions than this thing. And maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm an idiot and I will eat crow or my hat or something. But yeah, not good, fellas, not good. At least, yeah, I think it's not good. And one other thing that happened when I tried to do the region thing, even though in the installation, when I did what I wanted in the installation, the default installation for me, it was like use English for the environment and everything else should be Swedish. At least that's how I understood it. But nope, I had to go again here and set these things up. And I mean, maybe I haven't noticed, maybe other operating systems, other Linux distributions do the same thing, but I mean, like if I'm selecting couple layouts on the installation page, maybe if you If you don't ask me, you should ask me, but if you don't ask me, maybe at least after the installation is done and I'm greeted on the installed system, maybe then you should ask me, do you want to have this language and this language for this thing, and this language and this language for that thing or something? But I cannot imagine how an absolute beginner will feel like when they will try to use this system as a Swedish person, or any other language for that matter. They will feel stupid, my guess. And then after I set the system to use Svenska, it's called, basically Swedish, when I said apply, do the thing, apply system wide, it threw an error. I mean, like, I don't know what is happening in the background, but I don't recall in recent memory have this issue. And there are other little annoyances here and there, but I don't want to have this be a total and absolute negative thing. And one other thing, maybe it's quite crappy thing to have, and maybe you have noticed this already on the stream, or maybe on the stream is not doing this, but when I tried to do a recording, temporary recording, to check my OBS settings, when I'm having like a few apps, let's do it with these apps at the moment. Let's just open the terminal as well. When I'm trying to use a system like this, on my screen I see perfect animations, lag free, everything is perfect. But on the recording, and maybe on the stream now as well, it's like screen tearing is happening, but only maybe it's on the stream and recording, because I'm telling you, it's like 100% lag free. On my eyes, what I see now is perfect animations. But if it's an issue, I have to solve this. I mean, even my old MacBook Air running, that's back in 2012, running EndeavourOS, fully updated, running XFCE of course, but still it's 2012. And recording and streaming and all that, and I don't have this issue. It's insane. Maybe it's the OBS version because it's the Snaps version, but whatever the reason, it's insane to me that it's happening. And if it's Snaps the problem, it's like how can I say this? If Snaps is something that you want us to respect and care for them and have us use them as the top priority, then maybe they should be the best possible apps for your system. Just saying. I mean, like, they should be like rock solid, as bug free as possible, and not a complete mess. Yeah, but still keep doing it, still being negative. Anyway, good things, I don't know, let's just try to find good things. I didn't have a crash, 0 crashes, not an app, nothing. Firmware updater worked flawlessly. I updated like 3 parts of my system. It worked flawlessly. I was gladly surprised to find resources. This was my go-to system monitor when I was using GNOME. Finding this one here, it was like a pleasant surprise. What else? Yeah, GNOME apps in general, they are fine, especially if you are coming from a Mac OS system, they are fine. Yeah, I'm having trouble finding, you know, my goodwill is exhausted with these silly things. Like, look at this. I don't understand. These are snaps. Why they're like, why they don't use their icons properly? Did they crash and burn or something? I worked with the Kdenlive earlier in the day and I didn't have any issues. No, it's working. Yeah, load up just fine. And this thing, I don't know if you are seeing it on the stream. I see this spinning beach ball. It's like Mac OS all over again. I don't know why this is happening. And I don't want to know. I don't need to know. It's not my job to know as a user. Like, solve these silly things. Krita. Okay, let's see if it's loading properly. Hello, Krita, my old friend. Okay, it works. So yeah, I don't know why their icons are like that. Yeah, I think they should take a good look on what is happening in the background for such things. Anyway, for real, I will try to customize the system to make it be like my usual cup of tea and report back in the days ahead. Hopefully the stream will end up properly, will end up fine with without those nasty tearings on the screen. But yeah, not feeling it so far. Not feeling it. We will see. Anyway, no need to drag this any longer. You know what? I will do something that I'm not doing usually. I will go to my YouTube channel. Okay. Okay, nice. So basically I had a few comments. I want to read a few comments from you fellas. Axonis 2306 on my video about Void Linux running on MacBook Pro 2012. That's an excellent interface, Mr. Penguin Kdenlive. Sincerely, Vincent Van Gui. Oh, Van Gui, I don't know. I replied, of course, and I like when I'm seeing this kind of comments. Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Van Gui. And then this one I have from at Plenty of Dashes RR007. You are quite creative with your names, I guess. I have that same MacBook. I'm going to try this same setup. Yep, you should. Anyone who has an old MacBook that is capable of running any Linux distribution, just go for it. And if you like what you see from my videos, be my guest and try to borrow whatever you see and have fun with it. To this date, I'm gladly surprised with the progress that those systems have those systems have running Linux. It's amazing, insane even. And then this one on my video about the Arch Linux, Endeavour OS. Good video, impressive how usable all hardware is. Yeah, basically what we were talking just before. Like this comment was from Andres APC. And yeah, if you have any old system, actually not just MacBooks, any kind of an old laptop, just put any Linux distribution, modern Linux distribution, and as long as your network works, then you will be able to solve most, if not all, of your issues. Usually you will be fine if you are using, you know, like the big stars, like I don't know, you know, some kind of an Arch Linux based or some kind of Debian based. I think the ones that I have been using are quite good for older systems and new users, like MX Linux, EndeavourOS, PicOS. I think most of the ones that I have been using in the past few months, besides Pop OS with Cosmic, and for this one I still have reservations. Most of the Linux distributions are pretty cool to use. And before I go, one last negative thing that I wanted to mention. Speaking of old hardware, I will quit the Vivaldi browser and show you the system resources. Let me try to do it on the terminal. As you can see, it says that it uses 3 GB of memory, and this is without having, besides now the OBS thing that I'm running and the terminal, nothing else is on. And then let's try to do the resources thing here. As you can see, 3.2 gigabytes are in use. So if you have a system, in my case I would say anything less than 8 GB of RAM, you should not be installing this distribution. Better go with something else. This is what I say to you. Even if you don't have any other issues with what you saw in the past, I don't know, 15-20 minutes, if you have no issues with what I've been saying, just for the resources, especially for the RAM, yeah, no need to use this system. And I could be wrong, but I think, I'm not sure about it, I will return about this on the future, tomorrow or in the days ahead. I think it's only Wayland based, so if your system does not support Wayland, maybe you will not be able to use the system. But I could be wrong about this, and I don't want to drag this any longer. I will return on this matter tomorrow, if I will remember. Worst case scenario, in the days ahead, I will see about it. Anyway, as always, I really thank you for everything. It doesn't matter if you leave comments or not, if you are subscribed or not. Thank you for everything, and see you on the next one. Bye!